All right, everybody. This is your host, Charles Becco with Brooklyn Traders, and today we are going to talk about your favorite subject and mine's the stock market. So let's get to it. All right, so looking at the cues here, a nice little move. Okay, we did get the pullback, right? Came down here at about 355, and we just bounced like a basketball, right? MACD cross. We've got good volume the last 3 days. I mean, big engulfing candle just breaking out of this lower channel here and higher. So where do we go from here? Well, sure, we broke out of the lower channel, right? But now we're in this mid channel. And then there's another top channel, right? So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Right? So we really haven't gone anywhere. Okay, this would have been a nice little dip buy down here, but I'm not really seeing enough for me to want to justify to take a position, because now we're just at about average, right? And I mean, this is not the chart that you just go balls to the wall with call options, right? I mean, this is like selling options vibe, right? Some kind of condor situation. Yeah. Not really much, okay? I think SPY is much of the same, right? Somehow got off of its 200. I mean, we're going sideways so much that the 200 is rising to catch the 8 and the 21 here. And it didn't take much for us to get under the 50 because they were just so closely compressed together, right? So that's SPY, Apple, and we're just gonna go through all the FAANG. That's typically what we do, right? But Apple just above its 200. I mean, we do got a squeeze here, just a daily. Kind of a sloppy chart. Just typically, this is a chart you want, right? You want that, right? I mean, once you start doing this stuff, I mean, you can't even call this a wedge. I mean, this is the backside of the chart, right? And typically, you just do not want to be playing around in the backside of a chart. I like the fact that, okay, MACD cross, got a squeeze, good volume here. It looks like the 8 is just passing over to 21, which is a good signal. I mean, if you want to just take that, right? But I just think there's just easier ways of being, right? And in general, right? It's like Apple. It's like, hey, how could you go wrong? Right? But you can go wrong, right? Microsoft looks more like Apple. Again, backside of the chart, just not very interesting, right? I have this indicator over here that kind of lets you know what to expect, right? With light blue being great, yellow being kind of murky, right? Muddled, kind of confusing. This not really general sense of direction, and then red being obviously bearish, right? So yeah, just not interesting, right? Now take a look at Meta here. Much more interesting. Squeeze on every time frame. Just the chart kind of maintained its integrity. We got buy signals everywhere. Fresh MACD cross. Not great volume. That's the only thing that's a concern, right? Is the volume, right? But Meta looks like, especially if we could get this above 325, which, again, we should be able to sneeze above that level and just pop off like a rocket, right? I mean, yeah, even the weekly, let's get a weekly here. It just looks good. Came down, tested the weekly 21, and then, yeah. Looks like a good chart. Would like to see a weekly MACD cross to the upside, though, right? So we could start challenging these upper levels up here. But yeah, Meta looks the best next to Goog. I did take a sneak peek at the chart, right? But I mean, you can just clearly see like what chart just looks good, right? Yeah, if we could get a nice little pullback here to 135, fresh 8 over the 21 cross there, fresh MACD cross right there. Fairly okay volume, not fantastic, but more bullish than bearish. I mean, Goog just looks great, you know. Yeah, Goog, Meta. Another one that I do like, but for different reasons, is Tesla. Okay, you do see like a kind of a wedge forming here. You know, the bears have defended these lower levels pretty well. You see that some of the extra chart is starting to turn around to being bullish, and Tesla, I feel, has a lot of power, a lot of stored power, right? I mean, yeah, I like Tesla here. So, yeah, if I had to say, you know, it'd be Meta and Google. You know, probably Meta, because Meta has all the squeezes ready to go. It just needs some volume, right? Meta looks the best, followed very closely by Goog. And if Tesla could just kind of break out of this funkiness here, because again, this is just a sideways chart, right? But I like the fact that, I mean, we were kind of making higher lows, and we had this little funky nonsense here, but this looks good. You know, I could see kind of like some kind of, you know, I see a nice little wedge here. Right? Yeah. You know, or the beginning of some kind of ascending triangle, right? Which is awesome. But yeah, I really like Tesla. Some other things that are just not as interesting, or you know, at least interesting, but maybe just an idea, right? Netflix off of his 200, right? Starting to gain some power. Fresh MACD cross. I mean, yeah, I mean, just something to look at. But as you can see, chart more muddled over there. Going up the list, we did Microsoft. Let's do NVIDIA. Right. Not as interesting, right? Just not as interesting. I mean, where do you go from here, right? I mean, just kabam, kablam. All right. So again, the 3 I like are Meta, followed by Goog and Tesla. And I think of the 3 of them, Meta and Tesla has the most potential in the next coming weeks. Yeah, but just not as interesting on the cues here, unfortunately, and definitely not as interesting on the SPY, right? So, and again, you can see kind of like the SPY is kind of mirroring like Apple and Microsoft, right? But you know, Apple looks like it may want to, you know, turn itself around. Had I noticed that Apple was just above its 200 there a couple days ago, might have taken a stab at that. But alas, you know, I've been trying to be more specific and targeted as to the type of trades that I take, and yeah. So let's watch for the breakout of of Meta, excuse me, above 325, and let's see if Tesla here. Let's see if we could get a pullback actually of a Tesla to 260 area. Right. Let's see that, because if we could get back there, potentially we could do something, right? Yeah, just nice movement today, nice action, but missed the boat on this. All right, so this is Charles Becco, Brooklyn Traders. Those are things that are interesting to me. I guess let's take a look at Bitcoin. Just nasty. I guess you could call this some kind of a wedge, but it's just not exciting. I mean, we're just channel surfing. Guys, this is just not a chart you want to invest in, right? This just does not look interesting at all, right? You'll see a retest of 200 maybe on a really bad day when, somebody says something and everybody goes, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's gonna die. It's just not as interesting, right? NFT market got crushed. What I do want to do is I do want to do a video. I do have a video idea. I think I want to review all of the pandemic era stocks. I mean, my gosh, right? I mean, look at Peloton here, $5. Like Peloton at $5. Yeah, I mean, right? Let's look at ZM. Just smoked. Just completely smoked. Right? Is this 2 years? Let's look at 3 years. You guys have to see where these stocks were. I mean, my goodness. I guess let's look at 4 years, right? Just, shoot, why not? Yeah. Absolutely wiped. But, however, right? Gosh, I can't believe it's been I can't believe we had to pull the chart back 4 years just for us to see this, right? I mean, full 100% retracement there. I mean, you can see I drew the levels before. My goodness. Yeah, okay, I don't want to take up too much time here. Yeah. It's just hard to look at the chart, considering like the madness that was the pandemic, right? And then again, this is what I forgot the proper phrasing, but let's use the word delirious. This is what a delirious market looks like, right? Like this kind of stuff, right? And anytime you see this, if you're like a OG veteran, you just look at this and you're like, yeah, so this is gonna die pretty hard at some point in time. My goodness. Let's look at some other names. I'm just curious. Just things that people were playing. Chegg. Things that people are like, oh my gosh, this is gonna go to everywhere. Right? Snowflake. At least Snowflake could hold above $150. I mean, that's impressive, right? What's the other one? I can't think of all of them. All right, let me not go down this rabbit hole. All right, so Charles Becco, Brooklyn Traders. We're gonna. I definitely want to do like a review of the pandemic era stocks, and then just go over the ones that I think that are interesting and that are not gonna die in the next 5 to 10 years. All right, thanks, and God bless. Hey, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you enjoy this content, please check out our website at www.brooklyntraders.net. That is www.brooklyntraders.net. Thanks, and God bless.